So you have arrived. For you lies a Twitch stream. For
You're in a 10 by 10 corridor.
I don't know why I thought I was gonna do that. I thought it was gonna be funny, and then I just got about 5 seconds into it. It's like, this is not good. It's not good. But you know, it is good. The fact that this is King Arthur Pendragon 5.2, the Great Pendragon Campaign, episode 34. GrimDarkJames, thanks for that 65-month resub. 65. What a number. So short of several significant other numbers. Hopefully we'll be here for those too. Previously on this show, absolutely insane stuff happened. Glimo, the overlays.
Oh, yep.
I did. Wrong. I swear. Oh,
listen, I know. I didn't even notice.
No,
so.
I know what happened. I set up a thing for the break. I'm floating a thing for the break, and in the process of doing that, I managed to fuck a bunch of things up. That's my problem. Hey, when I'm not doing the intros, I'll reorder the cameras. But while I've got you all here, yeah, so Glimo got in there and really started psyopsing people, I think. There was some intrigue in order to set all of the Saxons against each other. He managed to get a dime dropped about certain problems, like the Count of Huntington is rumored. Only one person has said it, but the Count of Huntington is rumored to be on the verge of pledging leal fealty to a Saxon king, which would greatly shift the political landscape and the balance of power, and basically doom any chance of a unified Logris. On the other hand, there's games being played up and down the field. There's all sorts of people to meet with. Something's happening about Merlin. There's so many sides to this Merlin thing. None of you have weighed in on that. You got permission from the Countess to get involved in deciding which, if any, or all of these Saxon factions you want to deal with. You've done a great job of setting them against each other. You've not done a great job of getting their prices so far. Not a lot of price work going on. Not a lot of car shopping happening here. But
I got legendarily drunk.
You did get legendadily drunk, actually. Was it a critical success?
It was a critical success on my indulgent roll.
And Sir Kendric now has Twitter beef with the Queen Igraine after he decided to diss her herald, which was a woman pretending to be a man.
She dissed me first. Let's be clear.
Not only did you disrespect her, you then had her booted from the feast and summarily told everybody not to talk to her.
It's true. I did do that.
Yeah, I think that was the last thing that happened. It was not great. But in the background of all of this, there is some merriment because it has been announced that Lady Jenna is finally getting married this year. Dame Titania is holding a hunt in the honor of Lady Jenna. And following that hunt, there will be the Squires tournament, at which the winning Squire will be awarded knighthood early by the hand of Lady Jenna. And of course, her husband, Sir Ufo, who is now... You are at this feast being told, asking people to call him Sir Ufo the Bold. It does not look like that one is sticking, though. Does not look like that's sticking.
So my recollection of the last game is that we were taking turns talking to people. And yes. I think that at the end of the last session, it was my turn, and I knew who I was going to talk to, but I can't remember who that was now.
Well,
I know that I'd spoken to... I know that I'd spoken to a representative of Orpheus to find out how his alliance with the Saxons was going. I know that I spoke to one of the Saxon kings, the one that was...
one of their...
Sorry, princes, yes.
Yes.
The one that was a bit hardcore.
I believe you spoke to Prince Selin of Sussex. Yes. Sussex is, of course, claiming that they are stronger than all others. and Selin may in fact be a total psychopath.
Yeah. I don't think we've gotten together and discussed our findings on the three princes yet. Also, were we going to tell Dame Titania about the fact that the fairy king is pissed off that she's using his wife's name?
To be clear, by fairy king, you mean the very real King Oberon.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. And finally, just because I took a pause and James jumped in immediately, I just want to make sure it isn't forgotten. There are recruiters for King Idris of Cornwall and Earl Urban of Devon who are looking for knights to pledge themselves to either side's cause for the year.
Which I think that's who you're going to talk to, was the recruiter for King Idris.
Yes,
because
right, yeah.
Kendric wanted to know what his offers were, because he already knows what Urban's offers are.
Yeah,
and
that's right. Now that you've said it, that's right. I was going to go speak to the representative of Idris. Yes.
Okay. You go to speak to the representative for King Idris of Cornwall. This man is dressed in Britannic fashion, but when I say that, I mean Brittany, northwest France. They are absolutely dripping with checker pattern diamond blue and red. They've got that Shakespearean, I want to say tutu. I don't know what it's called, though. You know what I'm talking about, the like waffling white materialed skirt sort of deal. And like a jaunty hat with a feather sticking out of it. And there you go. Aha! So, I see that you approaching me, Sir Gwgan, I assume.
That is correct. May I know your name, sir?
I am the herald of King Idris of Cornwall. You may call me Chester Sauce.
Well, welcome to our court, Chester Sauce.
It is a pleasure to be here.
I am interested in hearing about what it is Idris seeks and what he offers. There are knights here who may be interested.
I should hope so. He asked for a campaign's loyalty, 40 days of service of a knight. He is offering for those like yourselves who are among the upper crust of the knighthood and peerage, 4 Libra, and, unlike those from Devon, he is also offering battlefield salvage rights to take from any whom you slay their arms and armor. For every household knight you bring, he offers 2 Libra. For every hedge knight you bring, 1 Libra. For every man at arms, 1/2 a Libra. And every 10 levies, 1/2 a Libra. Extremely generous terms, I must say. Almost twice what the Devons are paying. Fancy a glass of wine from the continent? He pops a fresh bottle. Pours you a glass, even though you haven't even said yes. Yeah.
I'll try your wine, yes.
Oh, this wine is compliments of King Idris. It comes from his personal orchards, and you can see that the bottle is like a cartoonish, but again, like on a medieval scroll, like King Idris 2 thumbs up, and it's called Red Thumbs wine.
So the intent of the campaign is to take Devon?
The intent of the campaign is to follow the commands of the King of Cornwall, but it would not be unseemly to reunite all of Cornwall underneath one banner. The southwest of England is, as we all know, legitimately in the hands of the King of Cornwall. He has the papers to prove it.
I will take your offer to my brothers and see if there is interest among the Knights of Salisbury to rally to your king's cause. This is lovely wine, by the way.
I haven't even this is my favorite part. James is just flattering and complimenting. Haven't even told him what it is because you've hardly even tasted it, but I appreciate the compliment, and I shall pass it along to my lord. Chester Sauce turns around to one of the pages and says, write that down. That one down. Sir Gwgan complimented the wine.
Oh yeah, it'll be like the next run of the bottle will have reviews on the bottle. Oh yes, this is lovely wine quoted to Sir Gwgan of Salisbury.
Shall we have a confab
meeting? Yep. All right, Dad huddle.
Yep.
As you all begin to huddle, a knight enters in, announced somewhat unusually as Sir Raugrim the Blather. To be clear, I mean the blade that you might hear from a very archaic pronunciation from Princess Bride, as in to lie. So this is Blather, as in one who lies. It is a man who's about 6'5" and looks like a walking mountain of muscle. He's wearing a pretty simple tunic with a loose shirt and then like loose black, I'm going to call them like martial artist pants that seem completely out of place at this feast hall. All of it's tied together with a silver sash that gives him a very exotic, unusual look here. But it is clear that this is a man, if not of Logris, then someone from the British Isles, with his dark hair and dark eyes. As he looks around, he sees Dame Titania, locks eyes with her, nods, and then begins making his way around the party, but it's very clear that something significant has passed between the two of them. A significant NPC glance. Anyone who would like to can roll heraldry about Sir Raugrim the Blather.
I'll roll it, but nothing good is going to come from it.
Just remember, if you roll poorly, I will punish you accordingly with lies. Okay, you rolled good, so I'm not going to punish you with lies.
3.
Going to punish you with the truth.
I will punish you with the truth. Sir Raugrim the Blather is from the Isle of Man, which is a small island between Ireland and essentially Scotland, but really the whole Isle of England. You have heard that he is someone who punishes the wicked. He's like a knight of justice who does not, and to be clear, when I say punishes the wicked, I don't mean commoners. This is a guy who duels other knights and nobles and does it essentially to the death. It's not really clear what he gets out of it. There are rumors that he just enjoys killing other nobles, but he does legitimately find people who have committed grievous crimes and then punishes them for it. And I'm going to tell you now, Kyned, he's probably not here specifically to Titania. This is a kind of MO that this guy has of like showing up to a place, challenging a couple like lower ranking people before moving on to his real target.
Can I see whether or not this dude is wearing any religious iconography?
I mean, I feel like based on that specific question, you already come to suspect that, I mean, yeah, maybe he's Christian, maybe he's not, but as long as he finds some way to twist the rules in order to make it work in, it's not even a court of law because a duel doesn't require a court of law. It's its own court. Why don't you speak your suspicion and I'll tell you whether you're right or not.
This dude is here to kill Sir Gwgan.
That is correct.
Okay.
And he's going to circle the area first, figure out how he can get Gwgan into a challenging mood, and then he's going to murder Gwgan.
I have related all of this information to Gwgan and Kendric as we come into a huddle and I see this guy come in.
All right, Gwent also joins into the huddle while shuffling a deck of cards, and he says, I can distract him. He won't be able to challenge you to a duel tonight if he's too busy playing a game of cards.
I mean, I see no issue with this. I don't mean to fight anybody for no good reason, even if he means to fight me for his own reasons. If you wish to engage him in cards,
should you need, I owe you a life debt. I'm happy to stand in as your champion.
Gwent says, now hold on. We're all knights here, and we know strange things can happen when knights get involved. Sometimes and he winks at the camera, passions can take a hold of us, and we might take actions we never thought possible.
I very nearly I very nearly killed your brother after a duel.
Indeed.
If this man is who you say he is, Sir Ralgrim, then he may be able to draw Sir Gwgan into a rage and force him to fight.
Well, we will see what happens.
Okay, Gwent takes that as the opportunity to sell him on a game of cards. Since no one seems to be taking active action, he leaves the huddle and continues to shuffle the cards as he heads over to Ralgrim.
I think it's like Salisbury can't really afford to lose any knights right now, so I think Kendric is going to try and kind of keep an eye on who Ralgrim is going to, because Kyned relayed that he picks a few lower level targets before he goes for his real.
I mean, he's circling Titania right now.
Okay. Well, she can take care of herself, so if he wants to fucking fight Titania, I'm going to let him.
Yeah. Right, he has to work his way up to the boss fight. He can't just go straight to the top of the ladder.
Yeah, James is the older public player. He knows you have to fight the Wookiee with flamethrower boss before you get to the end boss. Yeah.
Yeah, he needs to the middle level where he has to like smash a cart with just his fist as well. You know.
Yeah.
Sorry, is that a Tekken reference?
no, it's a Street Fighter reference. You said Street Fighter reference.
Yeah.
I guess. And Mortal Kombat, they all do it now.
Yeah. As he stands over in the corner and mashes the B button.
Are you kidding? He gets a Mad Catz control. He just holds the B down after pressing the auto.
If you haven't, by the way, I do recommend trying out Street Fighter 6 because it is such a parody of itself. It's hilarious.
All right, James. I'm gonna take your recommendation seriously. As much as I think I'll regret it.
So, this momentary distraction aside, I was able to find, Prince Kendric has offered a 20 Libra discount on this year's tribute.
I wouldn't.
Wessex only requires 80 pounds this year.
I wouldn't worry about Wessex. I had a talk with Ace Quine. He's going to be bending actual Knights of England to his will. He's much stronger than Wessex and even Silchester, but he fears that Sussex is the strongest. Also, by the way, they're all distracted right now. I might have gotten them to challenge themselves to some fights, but to not
just to be
sully
clear,
Countess
everyone
Ellen's
is
hall.
seeing that happen.
Yeah.
Everyone is seeing that they are all drunkenly like roughhousing and then going outside to finish what they start. You're like, yeah, so they're all fighting each other, and like literally you've been watching it for a solid 2 hours.
Speaking of Sussex, they certainly project strength, and they believe they have the martial might to cow their brothers, and I would believe it. I would believe that Ulfius has chosen to side with the strongest force, but also I think the force most likely to take action either against us or against the others. So I believe that without having met the other two, I believe that Sussex are the most likely to respond aggressively if they are not paid. But by the same token, the prince that I spoke with he seems likely to want to start a fight regardless of the situation with somebody. We didn't get to the matter of the cost of terms, but I still stand by the fact that I think we need to advise the Countess that only one should be paid this year, and it should be a declaration of some sort of alliance. So the other two take heed. There's also the matter of Idris and Devon. According to the man I spoke with on behalf of King Idris, he claims to be paying at least twice what Devon's lord is paying.
Based on the letter I got from the Earl of Marlborough, that seems to be true.
For only 40 days of service, I feel that what Salisbury most needs is to refill our coffers. It would behoove the Countess to send as many men as she can spare, potentially us included, to aid whoever will pay the highest, simply to refill our treasury for paying these current exorbitant we call it
Tributes.
Sorry, yes.
I agree with that. We should only, if we have to pay Weregild, we should only have to pay one. We should not continue spreading our money around. And despite Huntington betraying their oath to Essex, I still feel that Sussex is probably the strongest, and I read on Esquine as he does as well. He's scared shitless of Sussex.
There is something happening in the air around you as the people who are next to you begin moving out of the way and getting quiet. And you all notice that the Atheling Selin of Sussex is approaching your table, specifically moving to stand behind Sir Kendric, and he'll be here in just a few seconds.
Speaking of,
I think we should do the whole, we all stand up, like, you know, when someone walks over and you want to shake their hand, how you stand up first, and we should all stand up in greeting.
Yeah. I think I agree.
Selin is walking over with his hands clasped behind his back, completely straight back. There's I don't want to say unearthly. There's an uncanny valley quality about the way that he moves, and something about his eyes and how dead they are. And he moves to stand. It looked like he was anticipating standing behind Kendric, but now that you've stood and turned, he has a slight frown and he says, "Sir Kendric, I understand that you are a Banneret Lord now."
I am indeed. Prince Selin.
I was thinking that the offer of tribute to my father that you will be giving should be 168 pounds. Do you find this number significant in some way?
168 pounds. Do I find this offer significant in some way?
I think make an intrigue roll.
Okay.
Can only Kendric play?
I think, hang on, I have to do some math real quick.
You're trying to figure out if you have a plus 16 that you can apply here?
No, I think I know what it's about.
Okay.
I just have to do math.
Kyned, I will let you roll because
Okay.
I believe you may have been involved.
This was the cattle raid.
Yeah, it's for the cattle raid.
It's for the cattle raid. He sees your look of recognition over Kendrick's shoulder, Kyned, and smirks slightly. And then goes back to a sort of calm expression and says, "But it would not be appropriate to exceed the offers of my competitors so much. A tribute of 100 pounds Libra, whatever your people's terminology it, or equivalent barter in heads of cattle, land, service, will be appropriate. And we promise, unlike some of our brethren, that when you have need of us, we will show up with blood and steel, defend your soil." Sir Kendric.
It's worth informing the king, your father, that asking for more than a land has to offer is a certain way not to get paid.
He turns slowly to lock eyes with you, Gwgan, and says, "I am sure that my father will appreciate unsolicited advice from a knight of Salisbury. I will make sure to have that marked so that he may comment on it at a later date." And then his head slowly rotates to look at you again, Kendric, and says, "I know what you did, but I can't prove it to anyone that matters. And so you win this little game. But Sussex does not forget its debts. It would be wise of you to be in debt to us so that we have good reason to watch your back." And he leans away from you a little bit.
I appreciate the advice from someone.
He gives you a slight nod and then turns and walks away.
Well, if nothing else, they have an intimidation factor going for them.
So what were the offers of Wessex and Essex in terms of the
I think
tributes?
It's probably 100, 100, and then 80 from Wessex.
80
Okay.
for Wessex is correct.
But I think
Wessex has constantly offered to reduce your tribute if you would like to serve them militarily, but you have never been interested in that either.
But this was just 80 with no alliance
Correct.
or no promise of service. It was just straight up 80 this year.
Yes.
How many knights does Salisbury have right now?
I mean, at the last official count, it was somewhere in the terms of like 70, 75, but this year there's probably even more. I mean, Quill is single-handedly just knighting random people off the side of the road who have strong arms.
I would say it was probably more than 50, less than 100.
So here's my thought, is that So Idris is offering 4 Libra per night plus lesser amounts for retainers. I would suggest that the Countess select 20 knights to serve Idris, and those knights must forego their payment and their payment alone. So their men-at-arms will still be paid the rates that Idris has offered, but the 4 Libra to each of those knights instead goes to the tribute. And so only 20 Libra needs to be found from within the group here to cover the 100 Libra cost.
I'm obliged, especially where we've been bearing the brunt of the cost the last 2 seasons. Would be good to have someone have sweat equity, if nothing else.
Sweat equity.
What would the skill be to kind of understand the feudal relationship of King Idris and like the Duchy of Cornwall? Because I know, like,
Gwent explained it to us in great detail like 3 episodes ago.
So the Duchy of
yes.
Cornwall has essentially been dissolved, right? The
Yes.
king essentially completely deposed the bloodline and married off all the daughters. The house is, for all intents and purposes, dead. And the king of Brittany and Cornwall is now claiming the Duchy of Cornwall, which technically is his legal right, but he's also marching on further lands north and east.
that would, so to put this in Crusader Kings 3 terms, he's marching on lands that are not part of his de jure claim.
He has claims on them, but they are not de jure to Cornwall.
Gotcha. Okay.
He has arranged for this situation. Now, Kyned has nailed enough intrigue checks that I'm going to give you this one. And if you'd like to, Gwent can be the one to explain it to you, but I think Kyned can put it together himself if Glimo thinks that this is it. All of you know that there is significant things happening there in the southwest part of this land. You also know historically that Ulfius has asked that land be made pacified, and he's specifically worried about the secret tin mines. So here's the big problem, that while the government may have dissolved in some way, shape, and form, there is still a national treasury, there are still historic agreements available, and the tin mines output is spoken for. So if someone else conquers the tin mines and sends the ore someplace else, that's a huge problem to the people that have already bought it. And it's a huge problem for the Collegium Superior, or whatever it's called, the College of Legates, because the functioning government, which more or less doesn't exist, still has to honor the deals it made, and the inability to do that leaves the whole island not only politically weak, but also sort of national laughingstock.
And like
untrustworthy as well.
The only person left from that government is basically Duke Ulfius.
Well, there are other members of the college who are alive, but he is the de facto leader. However, he shows absolutely no interest in becoming a king.
Yeah. And so basically, by sending our knights to fight for Idris, we are fucking that up.
I mean, the thing is that fighting for Idris is keeping the mines open. I'm sorry, you're right. Yes, if you fight for Idris is almost certainly here to claim the mines.
Yeah.
He may not know where they are, But if you control the whole land,
eventually he'll find
you're
out.
going to catch when they move a supply shipment, and then the game is over. You know the secret location.
I'm not sure that it's worth it though, because we can solve a lot of our money problems by fighting for King Idris, and the 10 problems aren't our problems.
No, they're macro problems that we have to do with micro issues right now.
Yeah, so I think Kendrick.
Now, just to be clear, this won't be seen as being disloyal. Like, no one's going to be like, you fought to specifically take the tin mines. You're a traitor. Like,
no.
Idris is still seen as, if not like a Logris man, Cornwall is still part of.
He's still he might not be a Breton. Yeah, he might not be of the island, but he's still a Breton.
I mean, Brittany is weirdly considered part of the island, despite the fact that it's on the continent.
Yeah, despite the fact that it's attached to France.
Listen, England is really big at colonizing things, and Brittany wasn't even the first thing they did that to. Okay. So,
Kendrick will say, I agree. I think we should. That is a sound advice, Sir Gwgan. I believe we should send, and I actually plan on sending several of my knights to go fight there, unless the Countess forbids it, of course. But
so the very fact that these recruiters are allowed in here means that the Countess has already allowed people to. Like, if she didn't want them to recruit, she would have just turned them away at the door.
Was the offer of battlefield salvage, was that for all knights or just the battle?
That is for anyone can keep what they kill.
Okay, so battlefield salvage all the way down, probably to like the levies.
Yes, if the levies kill a knight,
let's not let the peasants get their hands on the good stuff. I think we can all agree.
Hey, if a peasant kills a knight, good on him.
I mean, that's the thing. You know what? You know, like, it's probably going to take like a dozen levies with spears poking at a guy, and then if they want to break up a suit of armor, that's their own business at that point.
It's a Kaladin situation.
Wow! What a reference that less than half the audience is going to get. For the 50 of you that understand that, say the words.
My partner just started reading Way of Kings.
Way of Kings, incredible series. You did prep her to read the other 30 books before Way of Kings so that she understood all of the multiversal world travelers who show up and are like, hey, it's me, Blurbo, from the other book. You know it's me because I said the word storming once. Or I said something involving colors, which means I'm from the other world that involves colors.
No. But TikTok
no,
was like, hey,
you didn't prep her for that
already.
one? Okay.
Because I haven't read those books and I understood most of the story.
Well, you know what? As a longtime Brandon Sanderson fan, it was fucking awesome reading all the books in chronological order, but I haven't read a Sanderson book in 2 years, and now that's a problem. Because people are like, hey, have you read The Sunlit Man yet? And I'm like, no, I haven't.
Anyway, back to Arthur.
Yeah, back now. You're considering whether to Kaladin up a 12-way split on the armor, but it turns out you can't split a sword 12 ways, which is the real problem.
So I plan on sending some of my knights down there at the very least, because our treasury is our biggest problem.
All right. Well, when the time is ready, we should all speak with the Countess.
When you say that, you can hear a hush falling over the room. People are whispering about something that has happened.
Can we do a vibe check?
All right, Gwgan, as a Christian, you would never, ever gossip.
No.
The vibe checking is totally within your wheelhouse. You vibe check that Sir Raugrim approached Dame Titania and then ended up in a duel with Sir Naroon the Brutal, and that they are going to meet tomorrow morning for a duel to the death over Naroon's, I mean, I'm going to call them war crimes, essentially, but Raugrim is basically just accusing him of ungentlemanly, unknightly conduct. And Naroon absolutely lost his shit and nearly struck him with a blow. And Ralgrim was like, great, so it's a duel then. Now, just to be clear, Ralgrim is like 2 feet taller than this. It is going to be a hell of a matchup between the two of them.
Yeah, because Ralgrim is like Kendric sized.
Yeah, Ralgrim is huge, and Naroon is famously short. Okay.
Right.
Who's next?
Kyned will sell popcorn.
Well, you'd have to have corn kernels first, so if you'd like to undertake an expedition to discover Vinland, let's go. We'll call it Vinland Saga. Now, there's a mod you should get for Crusader Kings 3, Glimo, is the Vinland Expeditions mod. That is a good one. Yes, yes.
I did buy the expanded bundle on Steam sale today.
Oh, I don't know what's in that, but if Tours and Tournaments is in there, you're about to get a whole bunch of really cool shit.
Yeah, Tours and Tournaments was like 40% off.
That's sick. It's so good. It's a great addition.
The only thing that wasn't in the bundle was the Chapter 3 stuff. Because those are on their
You're
own
honestly better
pre-sale.
off without it for right now. I'm going to be straightforward. The DLCs so far have not been the best. I really hope you enjoy Crusader Kings 3. I like it a lot. I like it so much.
I have been enjoying it more than I should in my downtime between projects.
I've done way too many start in Ireland in a single county and take over the entire world ending in India runs. I have to tell you, Glimo, once you become Pope of your own religion, that's where things really take off. That's all you gotta do.
I did that with my last playthrough.
Yeah, sweet. Pope. All right, who do you guys want to talk to next?
I think that's everyone for me.
Okay. I just want to recall that there are a bunch of people here recruiting to kill or save Merlin.
If you guys don't have anything else before we talk to the Countess, Kyned will go talk to Merlin's dude just to get their side of the story because he's somewhat fascinated by the whole thing.
All right, Kyned, you go over and talk to Merlin's dude, and he's like, "Hey, how's it going?"
Well, it's a feast, and I am feasting.
He leans in close to you and does a little, and his face turns into Merlin's. Not the original Merlin that we saw who spontaneously generates flowers around him and is really arrogant and annoying, but the new Merlin we've seen once or twice with like a long beard and an older guy who looks way more like the Sword in the Stone animated Merlin, who's a lot shorter than the other one as well. And he's like, "It's me, don't tell anyone." And so the wizard Merlin is going to be leaving soon and will require an escort in order to evade his foes. It would be the right thing to do to help him get to Dorchester.
You know, I hear there's quite a few foes here in this room.
Yes.
Kyned is just going to take it in stride that what he saw was just too much drink. I'm sorry, I didn't get your name, good sir. But it's very good to meet you. And tell me a little bit more about this adventure that you're putting together.
Oh, well, the wizard Merlin, wink, is promising fantastic rewards, wondrous things, a treasure beyond imagining.
This isn't the treasure of friendship bullshit again, is it?
All I can say, company line, is a treasure beyond imagining is the official reward.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
He says his name is Nilrim, James. Yeah. He's here with his best friend Alucard.
I see. And when is his great adventure kicking off?
Oh, sometime in the summer, I should think.
Indeed. Well, I shall speak with my brethren about this. I hope you enjoy the hospitality that Salisbury has to offer. And he raises up his drink.
Okay. I love the idea that this guy straight up reveals he's Merlin to you, and you're like, I must be drunk.
Yeah, exactly.
Famously drunk.
Incredible. Legendarily drunk. It feels like a good time to take a break. You know, it feels like a good time to take a break. When we come back, we'll move into the next phase of this feast where we continue to figure out who you all want to talk to and then start to see some resolution here. All right.
DPS phase.
We are going to try something new this week. I'm going to leave words on stream up here for people to play at home on your phones or on your laptop, desktop, however you want to access it, while we're gone. So
what is this? I've never heard of this words on stream.
Words on stream. It's a word game, like a word scramble. You know what, James? You open the stream and you go look at it. I'm gonna go on break. How about that one?
All right, nice.
Well. So we had a mildly successful words on stream game that was basically just the cast play. And James absolutely destroyed us. I didn't realize you could enter more than one entry, I guess. I also thought you'd get bonus points for time. Did a cat just fucking magically appear next to spell? Oh, I see. It's standing on you and it's phasing in and out of your background. Okay. You're muted.
I'm mute. Yeah.
Yeah, she's standing on my chair because she's being real.
Wild. Absolutely wild.
We'll say affectionate.
Listen, I have a cat. You don't need to lie to me.
And like batting at my hair that's currently in a bun.
I have a dog who thinks she's a cat.
Sure.
It's great radio. This long silence.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say this is great. This is great for the Twitch stream, but not quite so much for.
Yeah, I don't know where to go from here with the cat thing.
AP's testing out his silence filter.
Yeah.
You mean for the podcast that isn't even? Oh my! All right, what do you guys want to do? You tell me who you want to talk to. Well, this is your show.
I think that the next one was talking to the Countess. I think.
Yeah, I think Kendric is ready to talk to the Countess unless anybody has anything else they want to do.
You go to meet with the Countess, and we've already done her formal introduction earlier, so you make your way up to her. She pulls you aside to another private meeting, slightly away from everyone else, where you've got some privacy, and her handmaids body block anyone from coming over to talk to you.
Your Grace, I think we are ready to provide advice for this particular gathering.
All right. When you say Your Grace, she raises an eyebrow towards you, but keep going.
I mean, it's when you're addressing a count for the first time in a conversation, you should say Your Grace, but then you can say My Lady after that. Yeah. I've been in front of the peerage, all right, Arthur? I know how it works.
Well, I'm sorry, James. I haven't been in front of the peerage because we killed the peerage here.
So we've met with the three princes. It's our recommendation that we, for now, ally ourselves and only pay tribute to Sussex. They are the most likely to turn aggressive if we don't, and also the most likely to come to our aid if the others turn aggressive. In order to actually reach the funds they required, the 100 Libra required, money has been offered by Duke Idris and by who was offering it on behalf of not Duke, sorry, so Duke Cornwall. And who's offering on behalf of Idris? Sorry, was
sorry, you mean King Idris and
Idris.
Earl Urban
okay, right.
of Devon.
That's right, Idris. Okay, so between King Idris, that's right, and Earl. Idris is offering the greater sum for 40 days service of knights and their men at arms. I would recommend that we send 20 knights and their retinue, but the knights must be instructed that the money that they individually collect must be paid as tribute to the county to cover the cost of tribute this year. Their men at arms can receive and have their full pay, and that they can collect the money from the men at arms and dispose of it as they see fit in any case. And that only leaves 20 Libra for the county to find to pay this year's tribute. We lose 20 men for 40 days, but we have tributed to the Saxon lords most likely to support us militarily.
I will say I do not know that the county has 20 such knights that are not critical to its security. I would instead say that it is my hope to encourage knights of bounty such as yourselves and others to send what they can and once more help pay towards the tribute.
And we, of course, will raise our retinues to deal with this if those retinues can be spared from the county for that time.
I think that your services of the Order of the Axe have been exceptional, and your willingness to front the tribute for years has not fallen unnoticed among the knights here. Indeed, several problems that may have arisen otherwise in regards to your behavior have been washed away by your generosity. You need not look to yourselves to shoulder this particular burden. I will ask the knights here, who are free to do so, to shoulder the burden this time through their service. And if you wish to enrich yourselves through adventure, then I thoroughly encourage you to take whatever retinue you believe you can spare and bring justice to whichever side you hold in your heart. I would only say this: it is my hope that you do not fight other Knights of Salisbury directly on the battlefield.
I think that in that respect, there should be an instruction given by your court that Knights of Salisbury who are to join this battle join a side of your choosing to prevent that from happening.
She doesn't say anything and dry swallows and turns dramatically to look out the window and gaze at it for a moment, but says nothing.
Perhaps it would be best if such an arrangement is agreed separately by the knights so as not to tie you, my ladyship, to a particular course of action.
She continues to say nothing.
I think we have our instructions. That's the other two, not to her.
Kendric nods. We will.
Right.
Okay. As you leave, she continues to gaze out the window, not wanting to, as you suspect, choose a side and damn the other. Or honestly, the losing option would be to choose Devon and then get demolished anyway, you know?
Not making a choice is still making a choice.
Okay. Philosophers in the last 600 years.
I still think this is the other, not to her. I still think that if I was to encourage our knights to take a course of action, it would still be to side with Idris as if they're doing it for personal enrichment or to pay their tribute, then every man is twice as effective.
So okay, I have a note here. I did mention it last time. I don't think it's come up this time. The Earl Urban is only paying after the campaign is over, which of course has the assumption that he'll be alive to pay it after the campaign is over.
Yeah,
Idris is paying up front right here.
Not have his treasury raided.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that, definitely Idris is...
And I mean,
the way to go. Just
to be clear, like, if you want to set up a deal where you do a direct deposit where Idris just pays whoever you're tributing, that would not be weird in this time period to just literally skip the middleman, because the middleman will literally take a cut of the money in the way and just have Idris pay the Saxons on your behalf. That would be historically accurate. That said, something like 90% of the human race is middlemen. They don't appreciate kindly being cut out.
Do you think we should talk to Baron Huel?
I mean, he's your sworn...
He's my paper liege.
He is your lord, but he's not your liege lord.
Yeah, okay, that's fair.
You do not owe him
homage.
Real fealty.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you do owe him homage.
Yeah, I think at some point Kendric would like to go talk to Huel.
No,
homage is above fealty.
Okay.
Every time we as a group speak to him, he gets quite nervous. So I think that if you were to speak to him, it should be individually.
That's because every time you guys speak to him in a group, you're like, hey, so we know you're doing something and we don't like it and you should stop doing it. And we're going to force you to tell the Countess about it.
Yeah.
Pretty much the last 3 conversations you've had.
So
okay.
I think,
Kendric, you're going over to speak to him alone? All right.
Yes.
You can see he's talking to his men and he's just like, all right, I've made a decision. We're going to get as many of our knights together as possible and ride for Earl Urban of Devon. That's a winning choice right there. Oh, Kendric. Good, you've come. I'm looking to raise money real quick. You know, he leans in towards you. You know, I've got some of those money problems. We can solve this very quickly with some strong swords, reinforcing a good British side. What do you say? You want to ride by my side?
Can I interrupt a second?
Yeah.
Have you seen the Funny or Die sketch about Captain America living through like the years after he went back in time?
I saw one of them where it's Captain America doesn't know about the nuclear bomb.
No. This is one where, like, you know, Captain America's living with Peggy Carter, and like she's like, oh, so I'm trying to work out where we invest all of our, because he doesn't want to do anything that might change the future, so he doesn't want to, like, he won't tell her anything about the future. So he's like, I'm trying to work out where to invest all of our retirement funds. There's this small company called Amazon, or there's this other company called just like no name here. I'm going to go with that one. And he's sort of like just like gripping his hands on the table, tearing furrows in the table with his fingers every time he can't help it. I feel like Baron Hill now just like makes every bad decision. If he left to himself, he'll always pick the losing option.
Well, Baron Huel, you do know that King Idris is paying double what Earl Urban is.
He is paying double, but just because you're paying more doesn't mean you're the winner.
I understand that. However,
Earl Durban has the home field advantage. Idris is from across the sea, more or less, kind of, in some way.
Which means his treasury is not under threat, and that he will be guaranteed to have the money to pay his mercenaries, whether he wins or loses. Earl Urban must win, or no one gets paid.
He turns, he gives you a hard look for several seconds, and he says, I know what's going on here. You're writing for Kid Idris, are you?
That would be my advice.
I feel like I butchered that sentence, by the way. Don't worry.
It would be my advice, my lord, that you should ride for King Idris, because I do plan on doing the same.
Well, they say it is the duty of a lord to listen to the sworn counsel of his knights. All right, everyone. Pack it up. We're going to that side of the room.
Nice.
So Will is basically taking like his entire, like all of his knights and household knights, but none of his levies or men-at-arms. But he is taking a huge force. He insists on being paid upfront in full and having it all sent to the Bank of Paris immediately.
Yeah, okay.
So he's paying back his loans first
He's
quickly
paying,
as possible to
paying
lower those
behind
interest
bank.
payments.
Yeah. So should we determine what we're gonna send here and now?
You can if you want to.
Okay.
There's always, just remember, if you're doing this, you can't help Merlin as well.
Yeah, but if I'm like sending people, like I'm not.
Sure.
I mean, we should have a discussion about whether we want to help Merlin or not.
Yes, obviously, I was going to determine who I was going to send, and then we would talk and decide whether we're going or not.
This makes for great radio.
Gentlemen, my house is rather barren these days. I don't have very many people that I could send. As you know, most of my family has died off in the last few years, and, well, the children aren't quite old enough to squire yet. There's myself and my two half-sisters left. And I do need to still leave someone to protect my lands if we go out on our own adventures.
Is Hayden nearby?
Yeah, sure. I mean, the rest of the Order of the Axe is having wacky hijinks throughout the feast, ignoring everything else that's happening. Something involving an apple, and like the apple is moving around the room, and they're all constantly trying to catch up to the apple, and like crazy things are happening where like Chester Sauce the Herald like walks in front of them and is like, "Hey, we should talk." Just like random stuff like that. It's definitely a sitcom bottle episode happening.
I think Kendric will pull Sir Hayden aside.
Okay.
Sir Hayden, I would like you to. I still have yet to determine whether or not I will be going myself, but I would like you to take 3 of my family and household knights, Sir Selwyn, Sir Molai, and Sir Idwal, along with my men-at-arms, and go fight for King Idris as mercenaries.
All right. He just nods and says, "Your will be done, my lord." He goes back to trying to catch up to that apple.
Can we discuss as a group the Merlin situation?
Indeed.
So this is my thought and my thought alone. I have no interest in helping or hindering the druid. My family is where it is today because my cousin followed Merlin on some quest as you all, or as you at least Kendric well know, I simply don't wish to throw good many after bad, nor do I wish him ill enough that I would join with those who seek to do him harm. However, if the two of you decide to take some action, of course, I will support you in that and join you in that, in whatever endeavor you choose to pursue. But if it were up to me, it makes no difference whether the wizard escapes or rots here in England.
GrimDarkJames, a man whose heart is almost, but not quite completely, filled with neutrality.
Kyned hasn't actually seen Merlin in his new auspices before this moment. Like Kendric saw him in London, but Kyned wasn't there, so Kyned has no reason to believe that it was actually a true sending.
Who were you playing? Who were you playing, Glimo, when we had the whole thing in Tid Tadgel with being accused and like helping him protect the child?
That was
Harad.
That was Harad.
Okay, so that's not
because he died a year
Actually,
later.
no. Yeah. Sorry, no. That was Harad Squire that I played for that brief period of time. Hebes, yes. Because there was no. You're right. It was Harad. It was Harad. Yeah. And then Hebes died right after that. So yeah. So Kyned has no. He's heard family stories about the wizard, but there's none of them that were particularly good. So he doesn't he certainly doesn't care enough to stick his neck out for the wizard, given that he got several of his predecessors killed.
And I roll my hate Merlin passion to decide whether or not I'm going
purpose?
to decide to whether or not I'm going to suggest we help him or to leave him to his fate.
Leave him to his fate, or take him out.
Yeah. Okay.
I think if I critical, we're gonna go hunt Merlin.
Go ahead.
Throw your lot in with Lot.
No, we fumble.
Oh, Jesus. So I guess we're going after Merlin now.
So does this not mean that passion also reduces by 1? Am I crazy talking?
I mean, was it a passion roll, or was he just using it as a character guide in order to decide what his character would do?
I still think it reduces by 1. You can no longer summon as much anger about the situation. Time has healed part of this wound.
Kendric gives a long sigh and says,
"We're going to Dover."
Despite my personal feelings about the wizard, he was a valued advisor and asset to the King Uther. And should he survive, he would hopefully do the same for the next true king of England, or of Logris. I believe it is in the nation's best interest that he survive to Dorchester, despite what I might think.
All right. Then we choose which men we send to Idris, and we ourselves join the Druid.
Or shall it be done?
I'm sending Sir Hayden and 3 of my household knights and all of my men-at-arms.
What of our new attendants?
You mean Sir Seed and Dame Irwin?
Exactly. Should we send them for some Battlefield hardening.
Perhaps. I think
If they survive it, then they're members of the order.
I think this will be a good first task for them. So I think that's yes.
But the three of you are committing to helping Merlin.
Yes.
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 Okay, so my question is, are you committing to helping Merlin for Merlin's sake, or do you want to sign on with somebody to help Merlin?
Oh, somebody here to help Merlin?
It wasn't.
Ulfius has sent a messenger that no one has spoken to yet.
Okay.
No. Okay. Someone talked to him last time. I want to say that Gwgan talked to him last
He
episode.
basically was, I believe.
But yes, he said he wanted to get he said he wanted to get Merlin the hell out of.
Yeah.
Then yeah, I think we're gonna.
So I mean, no,
sign
just
up
yeah,
with
you know,
Ulfius.
let's be very clear here. You got to decide whether you want to take this contract personally or whether you're a subcontractor, which may have its own implications. You know what I mean? You got to decide whether you want to sign on to Ulfius or whether you just want to deal with Merlin directly. Although I guess Kyned doesn't know it's Merlin, so you believe it's a guy sent by Merlin, I suppose.
I think now that we've had this conversation, Kendric is going to go, all right, let's go talk to Merlin's Herald and tell him we'll help the wizard. And see where he wants us to meet. And so I think the three of us will go over and talk to Merlin's Herald, aka
Right. Actually, Merlin.
Yeah, no room.
Merlin's Herald greets you and says, "Ah, great to see you all again. It is I, the Herald of Merlin. I assume you've come here in order to help my wink employer, Merlin the Wizard, Arch Druid of England, respected elder, advisor to multiple kings, make his way to Dorchester."
That's correct.
Spoon muted?
Just having some internet issues.
Yeah, but you've been having internet issues all day.
Yeah,
for sure.
all session. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Yes, my lord. I've told my.
Oh, please!
my
I'm no lord.
brothers here about my about your offer, and we've agreed to help your master out.
And you've told them about the reward.
Oh yes. It's the power of friendship. I mean, we're getting glory beyond measure, or some. Why don't you tell us?
Everything you just said is wrong.
That goes with the night I'm having, and he hoists his flagon again.
He puts a hand on your shoulder and says, "You will receive a reward equal to the measure of effort that you put into this quest, my good Sir Kyned. Your friendship, loyalty, and faith have all been tested. And now, this moment, as the wizard flees for his very life to continue a quest so powerful, beyond imagining, requiring him to go really far away from here for some time, the reward will be literally unimaginable. You cannot imagine it.
For me, the reward is that Merlin will never again be harmed by anything in Britain, and that Britain will never again be harmed by Merlin."
Okay, the Herald takes 2 steps back, puts a hand on his chest. Says, "Wow, that was really hard. Really, really hard, Sir Gwgan."
wizard and I and my family unfortunately have a history, but we're not here about history. We are here to see your master to safety. And
Right.
that, as
We're here
knights,
about
that
the
is
future.
as knights, that's the oath we will make.
Okay, cool.
Questions for the druid. Some things I wish to know.
Okay, I'm here to answer questions.
These are questions that only Merlin can answer.
I'm his herald. I'm empowered to speak on his behalf.
Can you tell me why the sword and the stone is not Excalibur?
Okay, I don't think I can answer that particular question. You really
That's why-
would need the wizard Merlin in person to answer that question.
Yes, that's why I said my questions are for Merlin.
I tell you what if he wrote you the answer and sent it to you tomorrow?
If he has ways of delivering such a message.
I mean, it will take us days to reach Dorchester. We'll have an opportunity to speak with Merlin. I don't think that our commitment to help Merlin reach the coast is dependent upon the answers to these questions. We will see him to safety regardless, and Kendric will have his answers by hook or by crook, one way or another, throughout that journey.
On the road.
Okay, so we're done here then?
Where and when should we be to begin this
If
escort?
you're prepared for it, I suppose we can say 3 days' time from now. As
You
the
said
sun
the summer.
rises, meet in front of Vagon Castle.
Very well.
I'll look at the other two. Given that there are others here who are seeking to do harm to the wizard, perhaps none of us should speak to anyone of commitment to this quest, nor when and where we are to meet the wizard.
Agreed.
Agreed.
Well, my job here is done.
Also, hopefully this fast journey gets you out of harm's way, Sir Gwgan.
Well, my lords, thank you for your commitment to helping the wizard Merlin. I'm going to go dance now. And he moves out onto the general area and picks up a hock of meat and begins eating it, and then starts flossing.
Why do I feel like we made a terrible mistake? Any case,
Wow, straight out of a Disney movie, James. Thanks.
I've got a bad feeling about this.
Yeah, there we go. Straight out of a specific Disney series.
I think one of the last things Kendric is going to do at the feast is go to, and while we're still together, say, one of you go tell Titania that King Oberon is miffed at her for using his wife's name.
One of us.
Yes.
I feel like that's more your place than ours.
Yeah, indeed.
Kendrick. You seem to have a more
There's an
special relationship
unfortunate-
with Titania than we do.
Yes, which is exactly why I can't go talk to her.
And I'm not exactly high on matters of the Fae, nor a particular favorite of Titania's.
This doesn't have anything to do with the fate other than the contents of the message. I just don't want to be seen talking to her alone.
Very well, Kendrick. I will go and tell the Lady Titania, or the Dame Titania, what we discovered.
Appreciate that, Sir Gwgan. And Kendrick goes back to talk to his wife.
Okay. All right. Then I will approach Dame Titania.
Dame Titania is doing the like butch lesbian arm cross slouch. I feel like I'm not being out of place saying that there's a very specific sort of feel about it. Does everyone understand what I say when I'm saying that in some way? Okay. Spoon's nodding. As long as he gets it, I don't feel like I'm being completely out of pocket here. She's leaning back slightly, just like looking over. Raugrim and Naroon have decided to get into a drinking contest before their prompt beginning as soon as the sun rises duel to the death between them. And she's just leaning back and says,
"We'll go over and coach the drinking contest."
Coach or ref?
All of the above.
My imagining for coaching a drinking contest is going behind each of them and just being like, more, you have to do more. The whole vibe changes when Kyned comes over. It's recognized that Kyned is almost magically drunk tonight, and even Raugrim, a legendarily sobering man who has an aura of seriousness about him, gives a slight smile, and his demeanor changes at your encouragement.
Look, lads, if you're going to do it, you've got to do it right now. Paige, we're going to need 7 pitchers.
They have to go wake up a baker to get the yeast necessary to start prepping some real raw fucking ale to replace what is being drunk right here, just so there's still enough for everybody else. They're doing a little like 6-hour special in the background, just making some wonder mead. Okay. Someone is talking to Titania, though?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Dave, Titania, a moment of your time, perhaps?
Sir Gwgan, I have a moment.
I just really wanted to pass on details of an encounter we had when myself and my brothers entered the Forest Sauvage, seeking the what was it? Fairy? No, what was the King Sauvage?
The King of the Forest Sauvage.
Sure. Yes.
You were successful in that quest.
Indeed we were.
Interesting. That story has not spread anywhere. You've told literally no one of your magical adventure. Interesting.
It was a personal matter for Kendric, and one that resolved itself.
Yes, Sir Kendric. Sir Kendric. It seems it would be unwise for me to approach him personally. Can you let him know that I don't hold his wife or her courtier's distressing behavior towards me personally?
All right.
It would seem unwise for me to be seen privately with him at this moment.
Let me be clear. I am approaching you on behalf of my brother because he did not want to bring you this message privately. I will take him your message, but this is the last time that I will be a messenger between the two of you.
Okay, I'll just ask Sir Kyned to do it then in the future. He seems a lot more jovial about these sorts of things.
The matter I wish to discuss was simply that part of our encounters in the forest was that we met at one point with King Oberon. Do you know of King Oberon?
The Fairy King, yes.
Yes. And he mentioned you by name, taking umbrage in his claim that you had adopted the name Titania, that it was not the name given to you at birth, and that it is the name of his wife, the Fairy Queen. And he takes insult at your use of his wife's name as your selected name. I don't know what relevance this has in the Fae Court. Simply that I thought, well, we thought that you should know that you have created some ill will with this particular Fae man.
Now, I want to be clear here, James. Yeah. You're watching everything happen in slow motion. as she shifts her weight from one foot to the other, you see Sir Lanier turning slowly, recognizing something in her eyes, and like leaping towards her, like, no, like whatever she's about to do, she shouldn't do. As she again, for you, it's in slow motion, but for everyone else, it's at regular time as she says, well, I guess it's none of his business if Titania, Queen of the Fairies, cares so much. I guess she could come over here and do something about it. And
Oh no.
you hear a peal of thunder and see the flash of lightning outside. There was no, there was no raid scheduled in the, what did they call meteorologists back in the day? Like the wise men who are just like, it's going to rain in a few. My almanacs.
Prognosticators.
Prognosticator, yeah. There was no prognostication of a thunderstorm. What a weird freak accident. But such things happen from time to time. And Lanier's like, no, Titania, why would you do that? No. Titania's like, what?
Yeah, I was like, what? Anyway, as I said, it may be nothing, but we felt that you should know.
All right. I appreciate you letting me know. And I appreciate you taking this single message back over for Sir Kendric.
No. And I'll go tell Kendric that Dame Titania means no insult or takes no insult from the actions of his wife and maidens. And this is the last message that I'll be taking back and forth between the two of them.
Thank you, Sir Gwgan. I'm sure with time it will be less awkward, but...
Went pops up and it's like, if you need me to take a message, I'm available. I never did get that card game with Raugrim.
Kyned is still over with Raugrim and Naroon.
I wonder what she means by my wife's actions and the actions of her handmaidens. Also, did anyone hear that weird clap of thunder and flash of lightning? It's very strange.
Yeah, the orchestra was actually playing some music, and as that happened, they had just hit a dun, dun, dun. So weird. Very dramatic.
Kendric's good.
Okay. So you see various knights, which include a token representation, Sir Aldenalt, who is representing the Countess, is signing up for Cornwall. Sir Will is going himself with Conway, Minway, Paul, Sion, Tringad, and a shit ton of other knights who haven't even been named because they haven't even showed up yet. Waylon, Yizgon, Modron, all are headed in. Like truly over 24 knights beyond whatever you send are headed to fight for the King of Cornwall. And money is changing hands. I think after a short amount of time seeing after neither side really got any signups, and then one side starting to get like a flood of signups, the Earl's representative understands what's happening here and leaves, and like middle of the night is just like someone should ride back to the Earl, like he's about to get attacked from behind, sort of deal. Is there anything else anyone would like to do at tonight's feast?
I think so. Yeah.
I feel like at this point, Kyned feels committed to find out what happens at the morning's duel.
Yeah, I think Kendric would also
and might keep both participants up drinking all night until until things start in the morning.
Okay, I'm gonna roll real quick for the two of them.
Oh. Oh no, you didn't.
Okay.
I just saw the fumble words.
They are both able to stay up all night drinking. They stumble outside, slapping armor on their squires, and basically like castle pages are all helping them get themselves ready to go, face off against each other. It's not just you here, Kyned. Like, a whole bunch of people from the feast are here. Other knights that have woken up early. A number of ladies are here as well, observing what's happening. And commoners have gathered, like, in the like entryway as the gate is opened with the morning sun, and just watching from a distance. They can't come in here without permission, but they're just watching right now. I want to see how they do. Okay. It starts off fairly well for Naroon. They're stumbling around drunk, tired. Just no guard. It's just two guys running up to each other, beating each other. At one point, Ralgrim makes a mistake, and Naroon like slips in there and like just gets the sword into a socket or something, and is just like stabbing him in his armpit. And blood is starting to run out.
I've worked out the best way to avoid a hangover is to stay drunk.
Okay.
Or die. I mean,
So at this point, Ralgrim like takes a step back, separates himself into a truly strong stance, looking way more sober than he was just a few seconds ago. Takes his sword up for like a very high cut, comes up sideways. There's an attempt to block it. The sword shatters in the process and just absolutely fucking brutally cut down as he fumbles his sword roll. Ralgrim demolishes and brutally murders this dude.
holy shit.
Ralgrim just like looks at his sword and is just pulls it out of throws it to one of his squires who like catches it and is looking at like a slightly like dented chipped blade that has like shattered as well in this guy's body, and he's just nonchalantly like, I have to see a smith today about getting a new blade. Turns to one of his squires and says, send the challenge letter to Titania next. Turns and sees you, Kyned. Calm-faced. Takes the summit off. Looks at you with like crazy guy eyes before like blinking and turning to the rest of the crowd and resuming his sort of stern, serious look. What happened here today was justice.
For what?
Unknightly conduct. Burning, pillaging.
How many knights of Salisbury do you plan on challenging, Sir Ralgrim?
How many knights of Salisbury are guilty, Sir Kendric? You're the one that they call the wild bear, the mad wolf, are you not?
It's the mad bear and the young wolf.
I've heard of the things you did. Running down the river after the brutal slaughter of local knights here. Grim tales of what it's like to face down with Sir Kendric, whether you be innocent or guilty, peasant or knight, sworn combatant or truly just a bystander. A man of wild rages. You wouldn't have anything to fear from the just, would you?
No, in fact, I am the just. Kendric is famous for his justice.
This is truly turned into some old West shit where like people are like, whoa, like high school style, and are starting to move away from both you and Ralgrim to like create a circle, almost like a circle of equals between the two of you. Now, just to be clear, this guy is unarmed, but he is still fully armored minus helm right now, looking at you covered in blood and gore from the dude he just brutally murdered in about 50-60 seconds worth of combat. And I'm gonna guess that you're probably completely unarmored at the moment.
Yeah, he's still in
he's just staring towards you as if waiting
close,
to see if you're going to do anything. You just declared yourself a servant of justice.
You plan on challenging your way through the Knights of Salisbury until you are satisfied?
I plan to achieve satisfaction, yes. There is much injustice in the land of Salisbury. At the highest levels. Men walk free who are murderers.
Oh, now, boys, you're both pretty. Let's just kiss and make up.
Turns and walks away.
He also turns and walks away, calling for another beer.
To hear me out here, he's not from Salisbury, obviously.
That is correct.
And
he's from the Isle of Man.
Yeah, he's committed no crime because this was a duel, a challenge.
Yep.
But would it be reasonable for the Countess to withdraw the hospitality of Salisbury to him because he's come in and he intends to challenge, potentially kill her knights, regardless of the cause of justice. She needs her knights, so therefore she can simply tell him that he's not welcome in Sarum and evict him from the Salisbury.
Sure. And that's going to send a message, though. I mean, I'm going to tell you right here, the Countess's favorite pet ejecting a dude who's almost certainly come here to murder that guy.
I'm not going to eject him. I was going to encourage the Countess to do so.
Yes. Yes, but what I'm saying is what it's going to look like is she's like, no, don't hurt my Gwgan. That's what it's going to look like, to be clear. I have no problem with doing this. That's probably a pretty smart way to keep from him literally running a train of murders all the way up the rankings, the chain of command. Yeah. But it's going to look bad to throw a knight out who is here to, by his admission, achieve justice.
She can give him a choice. He can. I mean, he can't run through all of her people to get to his target. He can either challenge me directly or leave.
Chad is suggesting Spoon could just kill him.
Yeah, that's
honestly, if there wasn't a big crowd, that was gonna be Kyned's play.
Yeah, if only there weren't witnesses, I would kill him is certainly a very just thing to think, for sure. No, there's definitely no reason this guy might think that there is some corruption in this county.
That's not what Kendric was going to do. Kendric was.
I'm not worried about Kendric thinking that for sure.
But Kyned already told Gwgan that he would stand in for champion if he wished it.
I think it would be fair to encourage the Countess to say to this person, either challenge the person you mean to challenge, or leave the county. Rather than picking fights, like I think because the guy that he just killed challenged him, right? He antagonized the guy until the guy challenged him.
You don't know that that's how it happened. All you know is that in the end there was a duel agreed to.
Watching this guy fight, how good is he?
I would like a battle roll.
Sure.
Analyze his fighting style.
Maybe a sword roll. I mean, I'm okay with either.
I'll take sword. Sure. He seems like a knight. Oh, how can I put this in-game mechanical terms? Hold on a sec. I gotta go to the appendix for the different types of knights. I would hate to just tell you a number. You know what I mean? If I can ham it up with where is like the additional battle enemies? Here we go. This is a problem. I'm so used to the 5.1 book.
2.
5.2 book is a pain in the ass.
It's 204. 204. I'm guessing is what you're looking for.
204, you say? I'm on 247, so that's probably correct. I would say that he is a knight who is famous. Would be the correct terminology for him. Which would definitely put him far above an average knight, like Naroon, who just got brutalized. I mean, Naroon rolled the only number he could miss on. And didn't just miss, died instantly. I will also say this about Raugrim. His size is larger than a normal man is capable of being.
Yeah. I mean, as am I.
All right. Are we going with the plan to have the Countess confront Raugrim?
No, yeah, I didn't come to watch this fight, so I was just me thinking out of character here.
Then I would like to take our break here, and when we come back, we can figure this out. And we're gonna give another shot with words on stream, and I'm enabling an option I didn't know was there, but someone whispered to me that you will run when I'm not around, which is good because I'm not going to be around.
Make sure your guests are high scores.
Yeah. Now, I want to make this clear for our 100 YouTube viewers. I got up, went to the bathroom, did other stuff, completely left. I came back. Spoon, Glimo, and James were absolutely spamming chat. They were the only people playing words on stream. James has become very competitive about it. Spoon has discovered you can only put in one word combination per timer thing. And James was blasting past that. He is too good at this game. But he chose to defeat everyone else at the cost of not going to the bathroom. So he then went to the bathroom, extending the break.
I just want you to know, this is a problem of your own creation, AP.
It is a problem. I said I was beta testing it here on this stream, and I gotta tell you, I don't know if it's gonna continue based on this. You're on too many of my shows, James. I can't afford to lose you because you're just like, all right, word scramble, here we go. I was walking over and I was like, huh, that's a weird set of words. And I looked down and James had put in cockatoo, and I was like, how the fuck did you get that from this giant bunch of words?
Because once you get the word cock, there's not much left.
You heard it here first. Cock, there's not much left. A phrase that was said on this stream.
I do have a hard out at 10 o'clock, by the way, because I have a half-hour break for lunch, so I got to be on my OMAS channel.
Okay.
So
well, I don't know that there's much more to do here. To be honest, I don't think I want to start the Merlin thing right now. You know what I mean? That feels like its own episode as its own adventure. So anything you want to do before we kick off that Merlin thing, like asking your girlfriend, your secret lover, to keep a dude from maybe murdering you. Whatever you want to do before the Merlin adventure, now's the time.
I mean, I wouldn't give him the time of day of going and watch what happened. So therefore, it's not something that I am like Gwgan is like actually considering right now. I was just
Kendrick and I
workshopping it.
are rock paper scissoring as to who's gonna stand in for Gwgan when this guy challenges Gwgan.
You know, you can't just preempt Gwgan. Like, he has to want someone else to stand in for him.
Yeah.
It is, yes.
While we're standing here, though, Sir Kyned, I think, or what, while we're walking away, because Kendrick is walking away like a cool guy, we should tell the Countess. If this man plans on challenging his way through Salisbury and Knights, we can't afford to lose another.
I overheard him saying that Titania's next. I really thought that I was going to give Naroon the edge, keeping him up all night drinking. Perhaps that was a miscalculation.
Well, it seemed to work initially, and then I don't know whether it was the booze or apparently his sword had a fault in it. This is shattered. But the Countess should be informed that this man is planning on killing his way through Salisbury and Knights. And I think Kendrick is going to go tell the Countess.
Okay.
I'll come with.
But he doesn't have the wherewithal to be like, hey, you should revoke this dude's hospitality. But if she wants to come up with that on her own.
Does Kyned have the wherewithal to perform such a elaborate plot?
I mean, it's probably intrigue.
You know, I'm going to refer to the actual rule in the rule book, which is that I don't need to make you roll for intelligence-based things. You know it now, Kyned and Glimo. If you think Kyned would come up with it, I'm not going to stop you from enabling James's evil plan. I'm not going to make you roll to get that.
Yeah, I think Kyned has been spending a lot of time at the Countess's insistence studying underhanded plans. So, especially with Kendrick whispering in his ear that this guy's a threat to Salisbury, Kyned will agree and put that forward that we can either wait for this guy to carve a swath through the Knights, or she can revoke his hospitality. And Kyned heard him threaten Kendrick.
Yeah, I'd say there was some threatening going on there for sure. The Countess agrees to revoke hospitality towards him for his actions, and they have a short conversation privately, after which he up and leaves.
Can I ask an out-of-character question? Sorry, just thinking back to the drinking last night. In America, if you're standing around a person who is drinking a big drink and you're trying to encourage them to keep drinking, what do you chant to make them drink?
Drink.
Or chug.
Or chug.
Okay, no worries. Okay. Yeah.
Why? What do you chant in Australia?
In Australia, we chant skull, which I just found out is only done in Australia, but apparently it comes from the Swedish word skull, S-K-A-L, as in like So
yeah, cheers. Yeah, it's also I've heard my UK British friends say skullet too. So
okay, yeah.
I've heard that as basically finish it all in one gulp is to skull. Like if you skull a beer, you take it all in one drink.
That's okay. In America, we are incredibly realistic and pragmatic and straightforward. So if we want you to chug a beer, we'll tell you to chug a beer. We're not going to use an archaic word.
You got to realize I live in a country where a former prime minister had the world record for the fastest drinking of a yard glass of beer.
Yeah, I understand you guys come from a commonwealth of professional drinkers.
think Sir Kendric will also find, as it Sir Lanier,
Yes.
and tell him, Sir Lanier.
So Lanier turns with his bowl cut. It's definitely straight out of a late 90s, early 2000s person turning towards the camera on the intro of him. I mean, you already know what I'm going to say. He turns. Yes?
You should know Titania's next on his list, but the Countess has just revoked his hospitality. So do with that what you will.
I will do nothing. I appreciate you informing me. I doubt that he would break beyond the bonds of hospitality to attack her now. I believe that she has other matters she must attend to.
You have to get in line behind the other Titania.
And then
He gives you a half eyebrow raise as like a acknowledgement, but also kind of a dismissal from this conversation.
he's going to go talk to his wife.
Okay.
Dear, is there something I should know about your interactions with Dame Titania?
I just made it clear to the members of the Countess's court about when she sleeps with her retainers, that's her business. When she sleeps with my husband from a Christian marriage, that is a very different business indeed. That dishonors all women. Such matters are dealt with in the court of ladies in our own way, in a Christian way, through guilt and shame.
That's the character. That's the player laughing, not the character.
Okay? It would be very bad for you to laugh at
Yeah.
what your wife just said.
Yeah. I think Kendric just goes, all right. Let's go home.
All right. Any closing thoughts on this episode? Any outros people want to do? Glimo, you were streaming this week?
I was streaming this
What?
week. I've been doing some leatherworking on stream, and then I built this new mold for kind of more demony mask that I'm gonna be working on. So check out twitch.tv/Glimo for I will say occasional streams, irregularly. But yeah, doing some leather stuff, trying to learn some new skills and get some new costume pieces done well ahead of next year's Mardi Gras.
I understand. That must be nice. When I try to learn new skills, James tells me it's a waste of my time and that I should really open up a WordPress website to blog about it instead.
The best advice I can give you, AP, is not to listen to my advice.
Man, it's a good thing I'm not an artificial intelligence, or I would have trouble with that one.
I posted a non-Blood Bowl video this week.
That's true.
Yeah,
Gunsmith
I saw that,
Simulator. I am 12 seconds into it. I started
And already-
watching it, and then I
already
was like,
horrified?
I have something else to do. I'll come back to it. Spoon, you, of course, very famously streamed this week. Tell us about what video or stream you did. Oh, you're not like the rest of us? Damn, that sucks. Just to be clear, audience, I'm not trying to be mean. Spoon doesn't actually stream.
No, I have in the past, but I do not currently. I do, however, I did. I was unable to do the fixer files that I talked about last week. There was an episode recorded, but I was not a part of it, but I will be in a future one. So then that is over on the Critical Hits YouTube channel. They're actually pretty good. If you're a fan of the Shadowrun universe, they're hitting some really fun adventures over there.
This week I learned that Arthur has a social contact with both Spoons and Rad's wives. It makes me glad my wife's not on Discord.
Savannah messaged me like 12 times this week. It was really surprising. Normally, Rad's wife will message me like in the general channel and be like, here's an embarrassing thing Rad did. But Savannah's directly like, oh, keep it secret, but here's something Spoon just did.
Usually she just messages you to roast you.
Yeah.
She does message me to roast me as well, yes. One time she was like, I saw you were alone. Did no one show up for intro hour? And I was like, that's not the right night. I was just... That is my fear, though, that there will be a night of intro hour where nobody shows up. It hasn't happened yet, but it almost has. This is the real problem. It's that people know my fears and will use them against me. The fear of hosting a talk show and there's no one to talk to.
I'm very interested in this next intro hour of like the cheating in games that you regret.
Yeah, I know it's been a while since I've done an intro hour. I just felt like they weren't going anywhere and I didn't know what to do with them. And I think that this is... I probably won't do them every week, but I want to make sure that they're focused on something rather than just being a 20-minute vehicle to talk about Blood Bowl, a show that doesn't take place on my channel.
It's pretty simple. Just ban Lawson from intro hour.
Wow, Jesus. I'm glad he doesn't watch this show or he'd have to hear the cruel thing you just said about him. He's a good man occasionally.
He just plays a lot of Blood Bowl.
He plays a lot of Blood Bowl. And he dragged Dunamis down that hole as well. Now they play almost every night, multiple sessions.
Yeah.
Which mug is going to be real awkward when neither of them wins the championship this season.
Wow, you're calling your shot there, huh?
I'm not saying I'm going to win it.
You just think it's not going to be one of them?
No.
Dunamis is a strong player.
No, I think Fohammer's going to repeat.
Well, you know, I beat Fohammer, so all I got to do is make it to the championship finals, and then I win automatically, according to Spoon. As you know, I always beat the... Oh, that is true. I do almost always beat the champions, right? I beat Fohammer, I beat the Drakes.
Yep.
That's it. That's my purpose, is to be the bigger fish that is eaten by a lot of smaller fish all the time. Weak against everyone else, only strong against champions. Oh my God, I'm Triple H! Hey, there's the Patreon meeting tomorrow night. I have a PowerPoint presentation I haven't finished, and I may not, but I know what the bullet points of it are, so while there may not be a visual representation, I will be talking about future shows as I'm changing the lineup and how they'll be presented.
I wish I could join, but I cannot. I've got to get the kids.
This is how we find out we got canceled.
I committed to 5 years for this show, and we're only one in. And if anyone here is getting canceled, it's going to be me, not my show. All right.
We might actually meet Arthur in 5 years.
Yeah.
Listen, I have an agreement. If I meet anybody, it's going to be Glimo first. All right. He's the first person to be like, hey, I know you're from Delaware. I'm from Delaware too. You want to meet up in person? And I was like,
no. I mean, we, the characters, might finally meet Arthur in this game. Like
oh,
Arthur
you mean
Pendragon.
King Arthur? Oh, never mind. Well, yeah, of course you're gonna meet King. It's not even that far away. Don't play like that. You know.
We can make this game go very slowly.
You know,
and have
the primary power of the game master is the passage of time. I could just be like, well, Year 501, nothing happened this year. Let's so I know we just did the intro feast. We're gonna do the outro feast, and then we're just gonna listen, don't think you can sorcery wizardry me by being like, I can make time go slower, because my one power is the control of time.
All right, I'm saying myself a personal life goal is to at some point try and create a 2-session winter phase.
I'm going to roll for every one of my manners, and I now have 17.
A 2-session winter phase would probably require something like the trip to Jerusalem again, where multiple of your family members die, and we need to explain it in the story. Oh, or alternatively, we could be doing solo scenarios. You could just line up a situation during the year where you stack up end of the year solo scenarios where you run up to a dude and you're like, I'm going to challenge you to a sword fight, but only at the end of the year. I shall face you in winter.
To be fair, that was one of the things I thought about doing to Ralgrim, was be like, all right, I challenge you 5 months from now.
Yeah, exactly. No, you have to. No. If you're going to do it this way, you have to do it D'Artagnan style, where you challenge all of the musketeers and then you fight them back to back to back. And they all like, oh, I mean, I'm going to beat your ass, kid, but all right. All right. We are not back next week, but we are back the week after next week.
At least that's my schedule.
That's my schedule. I
don't know about anyone else.
I'm confirming, because if I don't confirm it both here now and then again during the week, there is a chance that I might show up and then be like, where is everybody? And I don't like when that happens. So I try to make sure everybody's on the same page. So but I'm saying it out loud now for the audience's sake.
I'm definitely good for the 13th.
Okay. Yeah. We'll be back on what may or may not be the 13th. I don't know if James adjusted it for...
I did, yes.
Ah, yes. Okay, then the 13th. But the 14th, if you're from the future. Or the 13th, if you're from the future, I guess technically is also true. That's it. Have a good night, everyone. Words with friends.
Never